Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, I'm Scott Bogie from Combat Sports UK, speaking with Koery Windham ahead of his upcoming fight against Lester Beaters at Fury FC 94. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Speaking about your upcoming fight, how do you feel in the preparation for it?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm confident in myself, confident in my team, my coaches. So it's, as long as I have time to prep, I'm always feeling pretty good about going into any fight, especially when it's kind of a dude of his caliber. It also makes it a little bit more fun. Definitely a lot easier to train for because it's just like makes it easy to not want to miss days and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because he has got a lot of experience coming into this fight. I know he was able to win the 2023 Pan America's Championships. Do you think that experience that helps you in a way because you're able to see a lot more tape about him to find out his weaknesses? Or do you think that will help in his favor as he's had more time in the ring?
A little bit of both. Obviously that cage time does help. But at the same time, I've kind of been able to just kind of break down his game as he's progressed, to see what things he's worked on, other things that he's kind of struggled with, how other people have fought him in the past, been able to see what's worked against him, what hasn't. So, the cage experience definitely does kind of help him out a little bit, but the cage experience does also kind of give me a lot more insight into his career. And then at the same time, end of the day, competing's competing. I've been kind of competing in wrestling since, a young age all the way through college and stuff. So although it's not in the cage, I still have that higher level of experience to somewhat match him, even if it's not in the cage.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking about your last fight, it was a victory against Donovan Manuel by unanimous decision. How did you think that fight went?
It went pretty well for the most part. There was some things in there that I wasn't happy with, as far as, like I said, being with the wrestling background and then being taken down although I was able to get up right away, it still left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, just because it's that wrestler pride, not wanting to be be taken down by anyone. But that's something I've given more focus to, just kind of being more aware of my fights. But as far as my striking and all that stuff, I'm kind of happy with how it's coming along. It wasn't the prettiest in the last one, but I was still able to kind of play around on the feet more, which is something that I couldn't do in previous fights. And then even just with doing the whole amateur career, just getting fights in general, it was hard to get used to being on my feet as far as throwing hands and kicks, all that stuff. But it's career's progressing the way, I was hoping for, just fight by fight,
Yeah, exactly. And what would you say has been your biggest improvement since that last fight coming into this fight?
Striking wise, we've been working on cleaning up a lot of stuff, footwork, technique. But probably the biggest thing I'd say we kind of fixed from the last fight is just kind of keeping that composure. I had him, the last one, I had him hurt a little bit towards the end of that fight and kind of got a little too amped up, too anxious to finish it, to where I wasn't picking shots. I was just kind of bombing stuff, just looking for that one shot knockout, which I think ultimately cost me not being able to get that finish. So this time we've kind of been, just being able to see the route to that finish a lot better, being calm and the more hectic part of the fights, and just overall just being a lot smarter with everything.
Yeah, exactly. And you are coming from that wrestling background. Do you think that will help you in this fight? Because from the looks of it, Lester does like to take the fight to the ground.
Yeah, I definitely think, I'm definitely not going to underestimate his grappling ability and his ability to get the fight to the ground. So we're definitely preparing for shot takedown defense and stuff like that. But I definitely think like my college wrestling background should help a little bit compared to like his opponents in the past who are tended to like to strike more, and he was able to kind of take advantage of that. So yeah, I definitely think the wrestling will come into play to at least balance stuff out.
And do you see this fight? Are you thinking of keeping it on the feet, or are you thinking it could just go to the ground and just be coming into a more wrestling match?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, with both of us being grapplers, kind of going through just fights in general in the past, when you have a grappler and a grappler tends to stay on the feet. Funny how that happens, but I mean, yeah, I mean we're still well for me personally, well, I think we'll more than likely be on the feet. We've still been preparing just for that fight to go anywhere, whether it's on the ground, on the feet, against the cage. We've kind of just been working all positions just to, cover all of our bases.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have anything left out. And do
Yeah.
you see if you are able to get this victory against Leicester? Do you see as the with being able to get someone win over someone like that, you should be able to get to that next level, like a top prospect in Fury?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, like I said, this Lester is he's had well, he's still fresh on like the pro side. His amateur
Yeah,
career kind of speaks for itself, with all of his accomplishments. So I definitely think getting a win over him, especially with as much momentum as he has going into his pro career, would definitely kind of give me a little bit of a boost. But at the same time, I'm not really like too focused on that, I'm more just it's just another fight, I'm trying not to really give it too much pressure of like, oh, this dude's a major prospect, so if I beat him, I could be a major prospect. It's more so just this is a challenging fight, and I like challenging fights, so I just
and
been going at it that way.
and are you taking more role as being the coming into the fight because you are fighting Leicester, who is from Texas? Do you think the crowd will be supporting him more because he's from the state that you're also fighting in?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's from what I got from that last fight. I mean, it's Texas supports their own. I can't knock that. I always appreciate that. But same thing as like anytime comes to New Mexico from out of state, even if the crowd doesn't know the dude from New Mexico that's fighting, they're still going to cheer him on. So I mean, I kind of even with the last fight, I was expecting to go into hostile territory, even more so on this one. But for me personally, just having wrestled around everywhere and going to like having to compete at other people's hometowns and stuff like that, I've kind of gotten used to being on the B side, and I honestly kind of prefer it a little bit just because it's a little bit more incentive to kind of go out there and do my thing.
Exactly, and the pressure is on him as well because he'll be looking to put on a show for that home crowd, whereas you're just here to just spoil the party, more or less.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
you have been able to come into Texas before, fight that Texas person, and get the victory. So you have been able to get that on your belt as well. How have the been able to fight in Fury? How has that been to you?
I've been liking it. I like them. I like the way they do things. I like their venue choices. Just everything about it. It's like really streamlined, really professional. Kind of gives you like a slight insight to that next level, like your
Yeah,
UFC, your ones, like all that stuff. It's definitely that stepping stone under them to kind of prepare you for the even bigger show. But yeah, I mean, it's really no complaints with them. I like their matchmaking. I like how they do everything. It's pretty on point.
exactly. And from what I'm hearing with the other fighters, lots of people are really up for the promoter. Things like Steve Garcia, I think that's his name. So
Yeah.
they're very up with his matchmaking as well as just how they overall treat their fighters as well. Hear a lot of great things from that.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's like the nice thing. I mean, it's for them being the size of organization that they are, you still feel like it's kind of like you definitely get that they still care about like their fighters and the people that are kind of helping put on the shows with them. It's not just get in there and fight and then kind of go off and all right, do whatever now. It's like, they take care of you in and out of the ring. It's not just a one time sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
definitely appreciate that.
is there anyone that, if you are able to get the victory, anyone you're looking to face next?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I don't really like to kind of look that far off. I mean, after this fight, depending on how it goes, then I'll kind of start looking, maybe playing with ideas. But as of right now, I kind of just get tunnel vision on the person that's at hand.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Now, it might just be the tunnel vision still, but are you looking to look for a quick comeback after this? Or are you just looking to take some time off?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, like depending on how the fight goes,
Yeah.
if there's any damage and stuff like that. But I mean, I definitely trying to stay active. It's like I said, with my amateur career, it's just I had 2 fights, and both of those fights were like a year plus apart. So it's just it was definitely frustrating, kind of getting in there, and then it's just like, well, now let's see how long we have to wait until we get this next fight. Whereas now that I've gotten to like my pro career, I'm just kind of more like I want to fight and I want to stay active at the same time, as long as we're all good and healthy. So definitely, depending on how this fight goes, kind of want to turn around, not too quick. I still want to enjoy like a little bit of time off, but I definitely don't want a long stint in between. So
Exactly.
definitely a quick turnaround.
And you were sadly, unfortunately defeated in your debut in LFA. Do you think that you've got some unfinished business in there that you'd like to explore in the future?
With that one, not so much. I mean, that was kind of not so much a mistake, but definitely like a lesson well learned. Those welterweights pack a little bit more of a punch than than what I anticipated. I mean, I knew that dude was a knockout artist, and me kind of being hard headed, I always had a bad habit of like wanting to beat the person at their own game. So I went into that fight like, oh, this dude knocks people out, so I want to knock him out. And then just from that whole atmosphere, just being in that stadium and all that, I got a little too overhyped and just kind of lost focus on the keys to victory, which is something, like I said, we've been working on from past fight to this one. But yeah, as far as that fight goes, unless that dude comes down to 55, I'd probably won't see that one again.
And so that's your welterweight career just stopped now.
Yeah. I mean, that one was like really wasn't even anticipating on doing. I mean, I know I have like a couple weights, and I'm like, I think I'm even ranked a welterweight in New Mexico, funny enough. But yeah, I was never really a welterweight. I mean, I probably could, build up to get to the size for it, but it's just not really something that makes sense. 55 is, that's definitely where I feel good at. So it's definitely where I'm trying to, plant some roots in and really, really build my career at.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I know you'll definitely give it your all in the fight, and hopefully you will be able to come out with that victory. Thank you for coming on. If you are in the
Thank you
area,
for having me, man.
If you are in the area, make sure you get tickets for the show. It will be a great atmosphere. If you aren't, make sure to watch it online. Fury shows are always great to watch, so it'll be a great thing to experience. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.